is just a little quick reminder to myself because yesterday was the first great day I've had in a long time, and I worked really hard at it, and nothing that was going to happen was going to ruin my day until it did. And I desperately sought anything beyond myself, anything beyond this realm to remind me that I am safe, I am protected, I am okay, I'm grounded. And I can't believe for the first time in like years, decades, since I've been a child, that's the thing about this life, it moves us further and further from ourselves. And one day we realize what the fuck happened, and it's really hard to process even what happened because so much stuff happens in one lifetime, let alone in retrospect of all the lifetimes you could have potentially lived or have lived or haven't. So I mean, then there's 3 spectrums, so it's just really strange, really beautiful, really exhausting, and I was reminded last night that it's also really worth it. So I collected myself. I woke up to different news than I was expecting this morning, because regardless of waking up in a great mood and keeping that great mood, or going to bed in a great mood and trying to keep that good, somewhere down the line of the 24 hours, someone, something, some greater force intrudes and gets in the way of that and affects it and affects me. And then I'm like, this is not worth being affected by. So last night I got off work and I ended up skating, because that's what I do when I just need to get it out, let some volume out when I don't have a voice to sing, because my vocal cords have been broken for many years now, and on a good day I can sing sometimes, on another day I skate. So it was really beautiful. I had an awesome day. People showed up for work. Not only did they show up for work, they did their job. Not only did they do their job, they weren't complaining. It was beautiful. It was great. And it was everything that I could ask for on a daily basis that just happened one day. So that was really cool, and I counted my blessings. I skated, was listening to beautiful music, and that was awesome. Ran into an old friend, chatted. It wasn't so awesome, but hey, we made it work. And then in the middle of all that, I received a text from the past, and it's not even like the past, it's like a very recent past, because it was my ex-partner who ended up deciding to leave me in a parking lot, because some people are just so scared to hold themselves accountable for their wrongdoing, so they rather flip the switch, turn the tables, flip the narrative, make you the bad guy, so they could sleep better at night, so they could play victim in this role that encompasses them with a community that is false, because their truth isn't even true. They're sharing false truths to a sea of people who actually have faith and commitment in them. So that's strange, but it was a rather rude message, especially while I'm going through so much already. And I just think it was to deter me from the path I'm on. And normally I would definitely want to word vomit right back and speak my truth that is true and get that off my chest. But in the grand scheme of things and in the bigger picture, they're not even warranted a response, and they're not even worth, they don't deserve the satisfaction of hearing back from me, let alone trying to see my face or to hug me. If you hated me so much, if I was such a monster and such a dirty whore that you knew all along, then why would you even want to see me again? Why would you even want to hug me? Because it's not true, but that's okay. That's okay. Those are realizations within myself I had a long time ago, long before we broke up, and I knew this was going to happen, because it's really easily predictable at this point, because human behavior and its weird patterns that you start to observe, notice, and archive into your own mental well-being, that's what ends up happening. So I felt really lost at a crossroads and stuck last night after a beautiful day, and I just felt defeated. I felt depleted. I felt how I normally do all day, every day. And this day wasn't a day I was supposed to feel like that. I was supposed to keep going. And it wasn't until 8 p.m. last night that I received this text, and I was like, damn, you fucking bastard. You had to, of course. You had to. And yeah, he did. So I processed. I sat there. yesterday was a beautiful day, not only because I kept seeing 444 everywhere. Normally I see 222, 333, 1111 all day, every day. Like, I pay attention to these things, and even when I'm not paying attention to these things, something like draws my attention to pay attention to it, or I feel like this weird tingly sensation, like, oh my God, I already know it's this time, or like, it's just weird. It's hard to explain, but that's what happened yesterday. So at work, license plates 444, the total for a discount 444 was reduced. My knocker for the day, which is like horrible, it's supposed to be $30, and mine was $4.44, of course. And I just kept saying it all day. The time, 444. So I was just like, damn, you guys. And they were like, why the fuck do you keep saying 444, Lauren? Like, you're such a weirdo. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But, you know, if I could, like, make any meaning to these meaningless days, I will do it. And that means appreciating angel numbers for what they are, for what they might not be, for what I would like to believe them as. So that's what I choose to do. I try to romanticize the little things, appreciate the little things, all the in-between, and just observe the synchronicities that wash over us daily that, for the most part, most are too numb to notice, or too busy, or too stuck in survival mode like myself, that we notice these things all the time, we appreciate them for what they are, and then the moment dies within that single minute. And then you're on to the next fucking thing that you have to do or take care of or whatever. So last night was different. Last night was different for the first time in my, not my whole life, but for the first, I pray they're okay. But last night was different for the first time, I guess, since like my childhood and my teenage years of being a teeny bopper. So it was the first time that it reminded me that, wow, I used to believe in miracles and I still do. It's just I haven't felt one in so long. I haven't seen the evidence of anything being bigger than myself in so long. I just believe it to be true. And it was really beautiful being like reinforced, the state of mind that I used to have and that I lost a long time ago, that I've been like continuously fighting daily to get back. So basically I was stuck in a rut. My mom was in the RV, as she always is, because she doesn't really go anywhere or do anything. So it's like her and me at all times, which is fine if that person like took care of themselves, because if they're not, then I have to take care of them, preventing me from taking care of myself. So that's another story and a double-edged sword I'm dealing with, because regardless of how hard I work or what I do, I just can't win. And I'm not even trying to win. I'm just trying to like be in the middle, okay? Remotely okay. Which I don't think is asking for a lot, because it takes like so much to kill my mood, and it takes so little for me to be happy. So the dichotomy blows my mind. Regardless, it was beautiful. So all day, 444, 444, 444, and I'm like, wow, okay. Well, my coworker's like, why the hell do you keep saying this? Oh, look at the bird. Why the hell do you keep saying this? And I was like, said what I said that I previously mentioned, and then I was like, it's because, you know, it's an angel number, and even if it sounds silly, I mean, I'd like to think there's someone watching over me. And I got home later that night after that text killed my mood, and I skated home, which I skate all day, every day, just to commute and get places, which is exhausting in itself. So I was like, wow, now is not the time. Now is not the time for you to really finally realize that, you know, you fucked up. It wasn't me, you fucked up. But, you know, that's not enough energy that I want to feed into the universe right now, because I have enough for only what I have to deal with right now. So I was like, damn, I'm just gonna like release for a moment and just like sit here in silence for the first time in forever. Mom started yapping. I started reading about 444. Scouts like meowing. I hear an owl hoot out of nowhere. Wow. And the really crazy thing about this is that any times that have been the most transitional or hardest points in my life, when I was in foster care, when I got out of foster care, the same owl, I know it was the same owl, I know it sounds crazy, but I know it was, followed me for 2 months. And it was also at a point in my life where I was speaking to my friend Zach, who I had the biggest crush on at the time, and he had owl tattoos all over him and was obsessed with them. So I was thinking it was a sign, because like, whoa, maybe this person's meant to be in my life. Now in retrospect, 10 plus years later, I realized it wasn't ever anything to do with him or myself. It was my Nana, because my Nana is the most important thing that has ever been in my life. I lost her a long time ago, way too long ago, and it just feels like a distant dream that I always try to hold on to. And, last night, though, was different because I sat there and was reading about 444. All this noise was around me, all this noise pollution. And I was just like, I heard this owl hoot. And I was like, whoa, did you hear that, Mom? An owl hooted. And I was like, that's a good sign. All of a sudden, minutes later, I started looking up what is the symbolism of owls, because I've always had this gut feeling and intuition of what these things mean without actually researching them or looking them up, because it's like somehow sometimes you're born and even as a child you felt confident in what you knew without knowing it, but that's because it's already inside of you and within you already in the first place. So the really cool thing, I was reading about the owl and I heard it hoot one more time and I was like, damn you, this is a sign. Maybe it's not a sign, but if it is, I'd rather be ready for it, because what are the odds that I would have even received a text that would have killed my mood to get home? What are the odds that I would have been home around all this noise pollution, researching the number 444, and heard an owl hoot? Like, without all of that, how did I hear that? I'm also slightly hard of hearing, and I couldn't believe I heard it. Like, the timing was beautiful, impeccable. I'll never forget it. Not only did I just hear the second hoot after I was researching about the owl symbolism, so something took over me. I was smoking a bowl, and I was like, Lauren, put the bowl down, get Mom out of your ear, put Scouty to bed, go outside. This is like a phone call to you from a different realm. This is a phone call to me personally from the spiritual realm that I have been so disconnected to for so long that I'm in public and I don't want to cry, but I also needed like a space where I felt good to just speak. So that's why I'm here. But it was just so beautiful. So then I was outside and I was reading more about owls and 444, and then I just took a moment to actually talk to my Nana, because she was and is the most amazing woman I've ever been blessed to know, and I just miss her so much. And she was like the only family to me that I've ever had, besides the family I've chosen, who also do you wrong, but hey, you chose them, so I mean, I hope it's for some sort of reason. But I was sitting there and I was talking to her, and I wasn't just praying. I wasn't just asking for help. I wasn't asking for like guidance, and I just finally was just talking to her, and it made me feel so elated and strange at the same time, because my mom does it all the time. I hear her talking out loud to Nana all the time, and I'm just like, it makes me so sad, because I hate the pain she has in her heart of losing her mom. And I know one day I'm going to be doing the same thing that I thought was funny one day with my own mom, and it just like breaks my heart, but then also pieces it back together all at the same time. So it was really beautiful and cool. So I sat there, was talking to her, and before you knew it, I heard the owl hoot the third time, and I was like, wow. At this point I was already crying, because I was just like, everything I ask for, everything I go through, everything I do alone, it's like, maybe I haven't even been alone this whole time. Maybe I just felt alone and was too busy surviving and struggling to actually like understand and appreciate these things. I've always noticed numerology. I've always appreciated 1111, 222, 33, whatever, all these things. I've always loved it. It's always touched me, and I used to be a lot more spiritual than I've been able to now, because it's like I feel so disassociated from myself and my like pure heart. So at that point, I heard the owl hoot for the third time, and I said my last prayer and said my last thing to my Nana, because I was actually talking to her. I couldn't believe it. I still don't believe it, and that's why I'm recording this, because I need to remember that it happened, and I need to remember that it's true when everything else feels so like false. So I sat there, looked up at the sky, and in the parking lot where I park, where I'm stuck and I can't move my RV, you never could really see stars. You can't really see too much. The moon, it wasn't a full moon, but it was bright and beautiful. A bright moon, and I could see the stars? Tell me how that makes sense. I see the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper. I see all these constellations and bright stars. And when my Nana passed away, I always vowed that she was the North Star. And I used to talk to it all the time when I was little. I used to have dreams about her. And now it's like the only dreams I have are nightmares. And I just haven't been able to see her in a long time. So it was just beautiful because not only was I like seeing 444 all day, I was reading about it just to reinstate the feelings in myself that I had were even valid. And then I hear owl hoot, so I researched that. And then I'm looking up, what does it mean if you see an owl and you're seeing 444 at the same time while you're praying for your Nana that you lost a long time ago? And then all of a sudden, this owl flies right over me, right above my RV with my mom laying in it. And I just started bawling. And I realized that it takes a lot for us to remember sometimes. It takes a lot because this is who I am and this is who I always have been and this is who I was. And it's like so much gets in the way to the point where you don't even know if what you're saying or believing was even what you felt or believed at all anyways, because life is so crazy. It's so compact and moves so fast that it's hard to even remember. So that's all I have to say. It was really beautiful. I had a great fucking day. And it ended in, oh wow, like the most beautiful miracle I've seen in a long time, to the point where it actually restored faith in my heart of miracles even being able to happen in the first place at all, ever. So that was really cool. And I woke up this morning and it was a new day, and I tried to have a new day and did this, and Mom drank her Fireball, got drunk really early, and I was trying to skate to improve myself and get better at something that I can do while stuck in a parking lot with the little resources or tools or fun I have. So that's what I was doing. Got a phone call from my lawyer that, hey, the jails are like so compact right now, which I shouldn't be going to jail. I know a lot of people are like, it won't be so bad, it'll be over before you know it. That's great. I understand that. I respect that. I also am thinking that. It's just I don't even want to spend a single minute somewhere where I don't deserve to be. I deserve to be taking care of myself. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to live in simplicity. I deserve to get all of this extra bullshit and noise out of my head, out of my face, out of this toxic environment that has become my life. And a lot of people say, oh, it's because, wherever you go, there you are. But it's not that. Wherever you go, also, there they still are. And these things are far more powerful, protruding through these external forces that you've created to protect yourself. But no matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, sometimes things happen, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and I've accepted that. So instead of just accepting it, I also work harder to break these cycles and this generational trauma that I've experienced for just like you have. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but it doesn't matter, because just like you have. So yeah, I tried. It shit on me, and I realized that even with all this spikes on COVID and all this on the rise, I still have to go to jail. It's just I have to go, and then I have to realize that if they're going to keep me or not, so that I could have this looming across the frontal lobe of my brain and weighing across my head and forehead for the next few months until they'll actually accept me into jail, which they shouldn't be putting me in jail in the first place when they're getting rid of all these pedophiles and sick fucks and doing all this extra crazy shit for everyone else but people that are actually deserving of it, because the goal is to kill the human spirit. But that's besides the point, and that's a different rant. I just wanted to remember how I felt last night and how I'm still feeling, because the feeling is still right up against me, and I want to bottle it up and never lose it, but I know that's unrealistic because, like I said, life is so crazy, everything happens so fast, and time just continues on with or without us. But that's all I really wanted to say was, I love you, and I hope you don't do what I do sometimes and forget. I appreciate the little things. I romanticize the little things. I make the most of the shittiest things, and I appreciate everything, good and bad. But sometimes it really does happen, and sometimes I really do lose my roots and forget who I was. Even though I know who I am now, I forget who I was, that I once loved so much more than who I am now, because this is a different state of mind. This is a different callous shell that's been built upon me to protect myself when I used to just be. And I miss being, I miss living, I miss feeling, I miss my heart feeling full. So I just don't want you to do the same thing I did, because miracles do happen, things are real that we can't see with our naked eye. Sometimes we feel things, and I feel them all the time. It's just if I don't see it, it doesn't reinforce the feeling within my heart that like maybe I'm just tripping, or maybe I'm being emotional, maybe I'm being mushy, maybe I'm just sensitive, but I'm not. I'm feeling what is actually there that no one can see. And the rare times I actually get to see it, when I actually have an undivided minute to myself to be able to see it, and not just see it, but also like ride the wave out to the point where I could understand the message, that right there is priceless. It's incomparable, and I'm really glad I got to witness it. That's all I have to say. Mwah.